Hello and welcome to another episode of What's Poppin' with Christian and Jamie.
Hey there.
Today we are talking about a movie that we both saw recently, Dragonball Super Superhero.
A very entertaining film.
A very entertaining name for a film as well. They really should have called it Dragonball Superhero because that would just make more sense. But
I feel like it's on brand for the franchise to just make it very silly. I don't know how involved Akira Toriyama is with the franchise in general, but I feel like that was very on brand for him, and I'm sure he enjoyed it.
It was, and with like Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan being a form that they can take. I mean, the name conventions are pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with Dragon Ball. Like, it is equal parts like cool, super action, and just like absolute ridiculous comedy.
Yeah. By the way, I have a theory that Akira Toriyama is a lot less involved in the series than he says he is.
Yeah. Is the manga still being published?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's kind of its own thing. The Dragon Ball Super manga and anime are kind of their own things. But you know what? This podcast isn't about Dragon Ball Super. It's about Dragon Ball Super Superhero. So, Jamie, what's your short thoughts on it? What did you think of the movie?
I thought it was incredibly entertaining, and I didn't find the CG animation as distracting as I thought it would. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, some of the other movies that were more recently released, Resurrection F, Broly, they had CG animated segments.
Yeah.
But to have an entire movie be CG, that instantly turned me off.
Me too.
And yet it worked.
Like, then, yeah, it came
a half hour
good.
Yeah, like as it is with like an immersive video game, you just kind of like tune out some of like, you know, the polygons and the texture mapping, and you just involve yourself in it. But the voice acting was great. The character work was great. It was like genuinely funny, genuinely touching when it had to be. It was a really good film, and I especially liked how it addressed certain issues in Dragon Ball that have been part of the franchise that, you know, go without notice sometimes. You know, for example.
What do you mean? Yeah, give me an example.
Well, we all love Goku, right? He's an iconic martial arts character in fiction. But
how much do we love Goku? I know where you're going with this.
Right.
Go on.
Like he is as iconic as Ryu from Street Fighter, as iconic as Liu Kang is from Mortal Kombat. You know, great guy, moral center of the show, like heart of gold. However, he is the quintessential absent father.
Yes.
And they addressed that. And like fans would joke about like how Piccolo
was the real father.
Was Gohan's real father figure, and they finally addressed it, and it was really good. And especially in the story that they were telling, Goku is literally absent for most of the film. He's often like some other dimension or some other planet training with Vegeta, and it isn't even involved, spoilers, with the central plot line.
It was great. I loved that they couldn't just rely on Goku and Vegeta bailing them out of the situation. The people on Earth, the second through like 15th fiddle to Goku had to figure it out on their own, and it was cool.
Right.
It was great.
And Piccolo has been to me like one of my favorite characters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, like everyone loves Goku and everyone loves Vegeta, but it's like Piccolo is like unique, even among like the so-called like Z fighters, where like he's got such a great design. It's kind of like a stereotypical Martian, but like as a buff martial artist. And just I love his voice, especially like, you know, the English dub, his costume, his stoic demeanor, and they added little like, you know, fun character moments, like how he would like knock on a window. He would just like knock on it once with his finger and then like just drag his claw down to make like a screeching sound. But it's just he's such a great character, and like his lore is so interesting, and like Vegeta, he is a redeemed villain.
Yep.
So it was great to see a movie focus on him, and also his relationship with Gohan, and for the plot to explore Gohan's story, because I think a lot of fans were kind of turned off by the fact that Gohan was like prepped up like all throughout Dragon Ball Z to be like the ultimate Saiyan, right?
Right.
Like his power would exceed even Goku's ridiculous power.
And it never felt like they truly showed off Gohan's potential. It never really felt like it felt like they should have made him the main character. As everybody says that he should have become the main character after the Cell games.
Sure, yeah.
And that's not really where they went.
You know, they keep focusing on Goku, and then
Yeah.
like Gohan is like a side character. You
Yeah.
know, like suddenly he's wearing glasses, wearing a tracksuit. You know, working on his graduate studies, and it's like,
Yeah.
wasn't he supposed to be like, you know, defending the Earth and like going to other planets and planes of existence and like, you know, defending the innocent from the various dark lords of the universe? But no,
And
he's
then
just
they didn't even have him do that in GT, which would have been, I mean, obviously GT isn't canon anymore,
Right.
but that would have been the time to do it, to make him a main character.
sure.
And then I think he just misses the ship flight in that. But let's get back to Dragon Ball Superhero, Dragon Ball Superhero
Yeah.
specifically. I have a couple things that I want to say about it. First of all, new forms are what people are talking about this movie.
Oh, yeah.
People are really talking about the new forms. Orange Piccolo looks pretty cool guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Love how buff he is.
I love that he forgot that he could enlarge himself.
Yeah, he just forgets. Just like Tien never did that thing where you can grow extra arms again.
Yeah, yeah. I think the writers just forget. But like honestly, with this franchise, it's so silly that you can just make that joke and everyone just laughs along with the movie
Yeah,
as opposed to add it.
yeah.
Yeah. Orange Piccolo.
He was all right. And then there was Beast. I said he was all right. Orange Piccolo was cool. I thought he was way better than the next new form, which was Beast Gohan or Gohan Beast.
Yeah.
Beast mode, something like that.
Right.
Personally, I thought he was kind of boring. There was nothing special that only Beast Gohan could do. Whereas Orange Piccolo was specifically stated to do something. It was like, this is the maximum of his potential. He didn't do anything too special, but we knew what it meant.
Hmm.
Whereas with Beast Gohan, it was just sort of another stronger Gohan.
Right.
What did you think of that?
I struggle to be interested in Gohan. I was kind of interested in the series when he became a superhero. Was it like Super Saiyan Man? Super Saiyan Man?
Saiyan Man was awesome.
So that was cool. It's just, I don't know. I don't think the series has done him much justice in terms of writing. So I thought superhero at least like made that a point. It's like, you know, Piccolo literally had to go to him and like, what are you doing? You should be training. You should be doing something with your life.
Yeah.
But to him, he just like, I think he just wants a normal life.
Yeah,
Just a
oddly
regular,
enough.
boring life. I don't think he's anyone's like favorite Dragon Ball character.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
I think there was a time, but not anymore.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah. He did transform specifically to do a really strong version of Piccolo's
The beam cannon?
special beam cannon.
Yes.
Yeah. That made it worth it. Even though I was a little critical of Gohan Blanco, when he did the special beam cannon, I was sold.
Yeah. Well, that also connected him with Piccolo.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is he's not doing like his father's
He didn't do the Kamehameha.
Well, he's doing his father's signature moves because Piccolo is his father figure. So,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So we're almost at time for this episode of What's Poppin'.
Oh.
But what are your, do you have any final thoughts? Anything you didn't get to say?
I absolutely loved Gamma 1 and Gamma 2.
I kind of forgot about them, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the android characters with their laser guns. And
No, they were pretty cool.
I thought, yeah, that was the first time that they were in the franchise, right?
Yeah.
I loved their design. I loved their character interactions. You know, it was kind of like the silly one and the stoic one, but like I was instantly drawn to them whenever they were in a scene.
Yeah.
I just thought they were very charismatic and fun, and I loved their design, and I loved their special attacks were channeled into their little laser pistols.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was a couple things I wanted to say before we run out of time here, which is arbitrary. Obviously, we can make it anytime we want, but let's pretend. Blood Cell. I didn't even mention Cell's new form. I don't know what it was called. I've been calling it Blood Cell for the past month. Red Cell, maybe?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
He was pretty cool, but honestly, he felt weaker than Cell.
Right, because he was out of control, right?
Yeah, he did have the Shin Godzilla laser tail, so that was pretty cool.
That's right. Yeah.
But
Shin Cell.
Shin Cell. Ooh, yeah, either Blood Cell or Shin Cell. I think Shin Cell should be his name. And then one more thing I wanted to mention is that I just think it's so cool that Broly, Vegeta, and Goku had that side story, like you said. But the fact that they are like working together, training off, doing their own thing, if they continue to do that occasionally, like maybe not the next movie, maybe the next movie they can show why they're training with Broly.
Right.
But in the movie after that, maybe we can just do another side character, side story. Maybe we get to see what Goten and Kid Trunks are up to or something.
When they get more creative with the franchise, that's what interests me. So it's not just like fights after fights after fights. Because I think the Frieza saga is still the high point for the series.
Yeah, but I think it's a bit overplayed at this point. Like, there's not much more to talk about with the Frieza saga.
Yeah, when they brought Frieza back for Resurrection F, it was like, that was
about all you can.
Interesting, yeah, but
that's about as far as you can go. Although I think it's cool that he's out there.
Yeah,
I mean that's interesting. At least they're doing something interesting with that.
Yeah. I love how his hell is just like
Happiness.
some kind of Disney fantasy, yeah, with like cute animals and fairies.
So, Jamie, is there anything else you need to say?
No, that's I'm like, when it comes to Dragon Ball.
Oh, I could
Dragon
talk for
Ball
hours.
Z and whatnot. Like, I'm a casual fan. It's like I've barely watched any of Dragon Ball Super.
Oh, I haven't seen any Dragon Ball Super, but I've read the entire manga and I've seen all of Dragon Ball and Z. I feel like I'm the appropriate amount of fan.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really watch Dragon Ball.
It's so good.
Too much. I was actually more interested in Dragon Warrior. Which
Dragon
was
Quest?
Yeah, well, Dragon Warrior was the American translation of the anime. And when that aired on Saturday mornings, I loved the series. I think they only had like maybe a season or two before it was canceled. But yeah, it was based on the video game Dragon Quest.
I didn't know that there was a Dragon Quest anime. Well, I knew there's Dragon Quest animes, but I didn't know that there was one around that time.
Yep.
Interesting. Well, Jamie?
Yes.
We have to cut it because this is a short podcast. So, everyone listening, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of What's Poppin'?